Boom. Hey folks, welcome to the SmackDown Podcast. We are your hosts, Kyle and RobRude. What's up, Rob?
What is going on, man?
Not
ever since I've recorded with you.
Yeah, I know. It's been especially just the two of us. We've been having Benji kind of, intertwine more here and there, but definitely.
Yeah, buddy.
It's definitely
Benji's stuck in a storm, guys.
Yeah.
He's he messaged us like just as we were supposed to start recording, and I'm not even sure where he's from. We need to find out where he's from.
Chicago.
But yeah, Chicago. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my boy Wally's from Chicago. But yeah, they're stuck in a storm, guys. He actually had to pull over and take cover at a restaurant.
Yeah. Pray for Benji.
I call him a slacker, but
or hate on him, whatever, man. Excuses are excuses, right?
Yeah, do both.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got Discord on his phone. Okay, he could be recording right now.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it. I was gonna leave that one alone. And speaking of Discord on the phone, guys, my computer pooped on me. I no longer have a laptop.
Yeah,
I'm on my phone, and Kyle is playing producer.
Yeah, man, trying it out. 10-bell salute for Rob's laptop, y'all. All right, man.
It's done. It's toast.
Once again, this is the SmackDown Podcast. This is your one-stop shop for all your recaps, reviews, predictions for WWE's pretty much their programming now. We're covering both Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and 205 Live, including the pay-per-views, the takeovers. I guess the only other thing to cover, if we can find time, is NXT UK. But that's something later on. But here we are. We're covering Raw today, and what a Raw it was. If you were on the internet, you would see there is a lot to unpack here. Most of it pretty darn good, man. Super happy. But before we dive into that, let's go ahead and shamelessly plug our show. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. If you want to find us on YouTube, all you got to do is hit in that search bar, type in Smacked Raw Podcast. We should pop right up. When you do find us, please like and share, and most importantly, subscribe. We're trying to get 100 subscribers so we can get that custom URL. Yes.
We need that custom URL.
Oh, man, I can stop telling people what to type in a search bar if it isn't already obvious, Otherwise, if you're enjoying us in the more audio realm of things, you can find us on Podbean at smackdrawpod.podbean.com, or you can even find us on Spotify. I have a feeling Spotify is the big one. That's my go-to for the podcast nowadays. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. And thank you guys for joining us. Thank you so much. We have a blast talking to you guys every week. I think we're rolling up on episode 20, 21.
I think we're at 18 or
18 and 19.
With you guys doing your thing now, I lost count.
I think we lost.
I really did.
I think we lost an episode or two. SmackDown crapped the bed last week, so we recorded entire SmackDown.
I forgot all about that.
And it never even got posted. But it's all right. That's the growing pains of the early days. You guys didn't miss much. I already forgot what happened on it, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But first, big shout out to Rob conquering the whole quest to get in Baron Corbin to unblock him on Twitter. Oh my God.
It worked. I got through. The man unblocked me. It was such an amazing feeling. Shout to everybody who helped. I didn't do it by myself. I kept dropping tweets and basically asking people to say, look, quote this tweet and tag the man, because he doesn't see when I do it. I did. It took me about a week and a half, and I can't remember. I have bad memory, guys. I'm sorry. I can't shout you all out. Everybody who helped.
It was a group effort. It was a group effort, man.
It really was a group effort. And my buddy Wally, I keep shouting him out. He told me it wasn't gonna happen because I got so personal, which I did. I was a dick to the man on Twitter, but I didn't tag him at all until the one that I purposely got blocked. That's why it was such a quest. Because I got blocked on purpose, and then I learned to love the man. I'm like, this guy's
you had to undo that mess,
treasure.
man.
He's amazing. like he's like my favorite guy right now. And I'm like, and I'm blocked by him.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened, guys, was Claymore Chick 95 or 15. I went to bed, and I turned my light out, and I stopped, and I said, you know what? And I tweeted out another shot at trying to get it unblocked. Somebody quote this for me and tag the man. And I woke up in the morning and I looked, and there was a tweet that said tweet is unavailable. And I'm like, oh my god, he fucking responded. He responded. So I went on another account to look, and sure enough, it was him. So I'm not even gonna lie, guys. I went big guns, and I went on a second account that I have, and I was like, "Look, man, I'm the guy trying to get
borderline
unblocked."
stalking.
I mean, that's why I didn't pull out the second account. I was like, I'm not trying to sound like a stalker.
Good,
I'm trying to show him that this is the account I want unblocked. But I went on to my Pokemon account, actually, and I was like, "Look, here's the honest truth, man. I was an asshole to you. And now I support you. That's the honest truth. I am sorry. Please give me another chance." And like 3 hours later, like I clicked his Twitter and it let me in.
Oh my
God.
goodness. What a redemption story, man.
I instantly followed and turned on notifications. Today, he freaking tweeted he's happy that like he got to the airport and whiskey wasn't leaking out of his freaking backpack.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, that's amazing. That's great. I want to give the guy a bottle of whiskey.
I'm not going to lie, man. I don't know if you listen to the shows when you're not involved in them, but Benji and I probably weren't doing you any favors. Benji and I were crusading to keep you blocked, and then we were like telling people to reach out to Lacey Evans and block you. But it was in joke. We always acknowledged at the end of it that we were joking and that Rob's a good guy and to get you unblocked.
That's what friends are for. Man.
Yeah, man.
I wouldn't expect anything else. Like, I'd be like, why are you not throwing jabs? Like,
yeah. You're like, don't unblock this asshole.
Like 2 people. Matter of fact, I think you were one of them. You and it's Bondicated were like Baron Corbin's tweets, him doing the "you can't see me" thing.
Yeah, we hit you up with that one.
On Twitter. I was dying. I'm like, I can't believe how valid this is right now.
Oh my gosh. It was so good, man. But you know what? That's, I think, our show's first storyline, like from open to close, man. It was a nice little journey. It was a short, sweet journey. But let's go ahead.
I said, I pulled out big guns. I went on a second account. I was like, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And it worked. So now, like, I got his dings, and every time he tweets, it hits my phone, and I'm like, oh, let's go comment.
But speaking of journeys, Raw and SmackDown could possibly be on a new journey with the new executive directors, Paul Heyman leading the ship in Raw, and then, of course, Eric Bischoff doing SmackDown. Of course, we're talking about Raw, and unless you live under a rock, you probably know Raw was pretty badass. It wasn't perfect by no means, but man, did they start strong and they finished strong too. Oh my god!
I do want to take a quick moment. I DM'd Slice Wrestling this morning, and he didn't use it. I was disappointed. I had a Slice Wrestling tweet pop in my head because we're gonna get into it. But if you're listening to this, chances are you've already watched. Raw was amazing. And I had a Slice Wrestling tweet in my head, and I gave him the whole tweet. And I said, per source, Eric Bischoff caught in his SmackDown office, sleeping, mumbling Nitro, Raw, ratings, Nitro, ratings, Raw.
You know what?
He didn't use it, though. Oh, I thought it was amazing.
Next time you have a good tweet, Rob, I've learned how to integrate the stuff into our show. Screenshot it and send it to me in an image, and I can, of course, bring them up and like throw the image up. Yeah. So I've definitely been learning to play around a little bit here. But anyways, back to actually, besides production of our own show, let's talk about the production of Raw. Holy cow, did they start off strong, dude. So we start off the week with, or start off the show, rather, with a Falls Count Anywhere match between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. These guys have been feuding for a minute. The match ends up in a no contest, which would normally sound like a bummer, but was quite the opposite. Holy moly. So the match doesn't really get going too long. It hit hard and fast. Before we know it, they're outside. They're brawling in the audience area. They work their way to the top of the ramp. Lashley hits suplex on Braun on the steel. That looked painful. As Lashley sets up for the spear against the stage, Braun shoulder tackles him through it. A year's worth of pyro goes off. They land on electrical equipment. The camera's shaking. I'm sitting here like, damn, this is pretty cool. And then I don't realize how cool it is until we hear Corey Graves chime in. Holy shit. Completely unbelieved, like an uncensored. And then I'm like, damn, dude. Heyman came to play.
Did you see his tweet?
No, I didn't.
He said, I think I'm going to start a GoFundMe for this fine.
For the fine that he's received. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I like Corey Graves, man. At first I didn't like him, but now that I've turned more towards the heel side, Corey Graves is amazing.
He's grown on me. It depends on the match. It depends on who's in the match, whether Corey Graves is easy to listen to or not. Some people he's over the top. Some other people he works well. But man, this was awesome. It ultimately, when they initially went through the stage, power cut, which you don't normally see that. Normally you see like a flicker on the light board, but the power actually cut for a second, making the arena go dark, adding to the realism. And then the pyro goes off for a solid like 30 plus seconds. And it really just lingers. It allows you to like soak in that some damage was done here. Ultimately, we cut to commercial. We come back. We see back like stagehands stretchering out Lashley and Strowman. They're really playing it up a little too seriously, if you ask me. But it didn't take away.
My wife actually, I was gonna chime. My wife actually walked by and she looked at the screen and she stopped. She was like, "Wait, is this staged? What's going on right now?"
Yeah, man.
So that shows how good of a job they did with this.
They got to catch your eyes.
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And then of course they're hauled off. I was joking with you on Twitter saying how they always have to say local medical facility, but apparently, Renee Young let it slip that they went to the hospital. So I was, naughty. But anyways, that's a story for another day. What a great opening to Raw, man. Paul Heyman, whether, it's not confirmed yet that I've seen what Paul Heyman wrote and what he didn't write. So I'm just assuming this has his hands on it, and if it is true, he came to play.
Yes, it has to be him, because I mean, like, they're not gonna bring in Paul Heyman, even if people are like, oh, nothing's gonna change because he's still got to filter through Vince. That's all well and good, but nothing's gonna change this drastically. We're not gonna get something.
It legitimately felt different,
right off rip if it wasn't Paul Heyman.
Right. So as great as that segment was, we follow it up with a match between the Viking Raiders and the New Day's Xavier Woods and Big E. The Raiders start off good, and then as the New Day starts to make a comeback, Samoa Joe comes out from nowhere and chokes out Woods, prompting Kofi Kingston to come out, and this all really just allows us to cut to commercial because we know that Raw's production doesn't want any wrestling taking place during commercial. When we come back, we have a 6-man tag match underway. Joe's working really good as heel, like always. Woods, Big E, and the Raiders all take each other out with dives. As Ivar's trying to get back in the ring, Kofi hits him with a Trouble in Paradise, knocking him back to the outside. While Kofi is kind of looking out at the ring at everyone, Joe comes up behind him with the Coquina Clutch, chokes him out for the win. Kofi's first legitimate loss since winning the title at WrestleMania. Now, granted, I did go on a rant last week, I believe. Hopefully it was on Raw, but anyways, I went on a rant that Kofi was pinned in a 2 out of 3 falls, and that really bothered me because it was worthless. But this was Kofi's first legitimate loss since the belt, man, and it's really hyping me up. Between the show on Raw and then the SmackDown that followed, which we'll get into, man, I'm all about the Kofi and Joe match now. I am.
It makes you think. Like, is Joe gonna make him tap out at Stomping Grounds?
Boy,
or not Stomping Grounds. Extreme Rules.
we're trying to get that pay-per-view behind us, man.
I was waiting for the moment to plug it. I made a realization tonight. I'm not gonna get to watch Extreme Rules.
No.
Once a year, basically where I work, it's an Italian freaking fruit market, like a very classy joint.
Yeah.
They do once a year. We have a real big Italian festival at it's called Freedom Hill. It's like an expo center, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's a big Italian festival. There's tents everywhere. It's a bunch of Italians.
So you got to attend that.
I have to. I don't have to, but they offer me to work it. Like,
no, man, go ahead.
It's like a good $200, and it leads until Sunday night about 11:30, and that hit me today. Which, I mean, it's no big deal. It kind of sucks. So I was gonna tell you, I want you to text me like results as they're going on in the night. But the positive is this is paying for me to go to SmackDown.
Oh,
it's gonna cost me $200 to go to SmackDown to take 2 of my kids and my wife. Like, that's a lot of money, guys. Like, Jesus Christ. But this is gonna pay for me to go to SmackDown, so it evens out. So I was waiting for the moment to bring that up. I'm not gonna get to watch it, and I'm not one to go back and watch it. I don't like spoilers. If I know the result of a match, like, old matches are different. Like, newer matches, like, if I know who won, I don't want to watch it. Like, it's not me. I don't want to.
It does make some of the stuff harder to
I want
watch.
You to text me updates as they happen.
I will. I'll keep you informed, buddy. Plus, I know you and Twitter, so I'll probably be texting you stuff, and you'll be like, man, I learned about that 45 seconds ago.
especially when the National Treasure and the Southern Belle take the belt.
Oh, okay. We'll get into that. That's still coming up. All right. Anyways, after the match, we move on. Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre come out to the ring, essentially to proclaim that they're not scared of The Undertaker. Well, guess who comes out next? Undertaker. And guess where Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre are? Running away scared. Undertaker cuts a promo more to his character. He has a really defined way to cut his promos. It's always about digging holes and taking souls and the dark side, and it was pretty it was classic Undertaker. The only thing I didn't like about the promo really was that he acknowledged Shane being the best in the world, and oh god, that just doesn't sit right with me. It really doesn't, man. This
whole promo, like,
what is with that narrative being pushed, man? It's got to be for the heat, right? It's got to be for the heat.
It's for the heat, man. Like, I support it, but I'm the guy. I'm leaning on the heel side right now of, like, everything except Dolph Ziggler. I can't stand Dolph Ziggler.
The faces shouldn't be acknowledging it. You know, the faces should not acknowledge the best in the world status.
Champions shouldn't be getting pinned, and we
you're right.
It's all over the place.
The moment
right
you start applying logic, the whole thing falls apart. Yeah, I get you.
Yes.
Did you notice during the promo? Did you? It could be just me, but did it come across that Undertaker was struggling to remember his lines? Did you get that impression?
No, but I usually don't. I don't look deep into stuff like that. Like, I'm the last guy in the world to notice shit like that.
It just seemed like the way he was talking was like he was trying to remember, like, the words coming up after what he was saying. Like, there was his pauses seemed irregular. I might be dissecting it too much. Right. You know what I mean? But
honestly, probably not. I mean, the dude's like, what? He's like 50 years old, right? How old is he?
I think he's like going on 51, 52, something like that.
Right. He's up there. And, like, I mean, granted, I know somebody's going to bring up how old Jericho is, but Jericho never stopped. Like,
well, Jericho's not in his 50s yet. He's about to hit 50. If not, he just hit 50. But
Undertaker's up there, so it's probably that. I'd pin it on that, honestly. Like,
well, that and his promo was obviously written ahead of time, where a lot of these other guys, like you mentioned Jericho, they're more or less probably given bullet points, and they just let their character do the speaking, you know? But you can tell, like, something like The Undertaker, that junk was probably written out word for word ahead of time.
Probably. I'm here to take your soul. But watching Undertaker out there, like, Undertaker can do anything, like, except I didn't watch him fight Goldberg for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But Undertaker can do anything, and I will be into it for the simple fact that the man's been around since I've been alive. I mean, you can look at Hulk Hogan, he's been around forever, but Hulk Hogan hasn't been around. He comes out for 2 minutes at WrestleMania in his freaking black and yellow Air Jordans, and you know what I'm saying? Jesus. But the main thing I got out of Undertaker's promo was let him go. Let him go in peace, because I keep tweeting it. I keep telling it
sound like
to
he's
my
on
wife.
Life support. Just
well, my biggest thing is, look at me again, bringing up that I've been in and out of wrestling.
Yeah.
I watched WrestleMania 35, whatever, when Roman Reigns beat him.
Right, and you said that emotionally moved you, like to tears.
I cried.
Yeah.
I didn't just have a tear in my eye. I was crying. Like, my whole life, the one thing that has been in wrestling is this man.
Yeah.
He has been there. I recently learned that Vader passed away, and that kind of hit me hard.
Oh yeah, Vader was a rough one.
Undertaker has been there. Undertaker has been a thing since every moment, every second of my life. Undertaker has been a wrestler. And that night they let him go, and it was amazing, and I cried. Even Miz tweeted, "If you have a dry eye right now, you're a bigger man than me."
Yeah.
And then they just wiped it. So this promo is, I know I kind of sidetracked on here, but
It's
this
okay.
promo, I loved seeing it, but at the same time, like, others are like, he's 50, let him go, he can't wrestle no
You
more.
feel like you've
I said
already...
let him go because you killed the man. He went out so good.
Yeah,
It
you
was
feel
so
like you already
amazing, and then
peaked with your
Yes.
with your send off, that everything else feels kind of like it's you're not gonna hit that
Yes.
emotional level again. You know what
Exactly.
I mean?
When it happens again, I'm like, man,
It's like
you
diminishing
could pay a guy
returns.
$1 million to write a better ending. And like, what gets me more is like this thought. Like, I think of this at least once a day. I really do.
Yeah.
The man just lost at WrestleMania, but you didn't care about that. He was sent off. Like, you didn't even think about the match's end. His trench coat, his hat was in the ring. He looked.
It wasn't
around.
the loss
It was
that stuck
absolutely
around.
amazing.
It was the send off and the grand exit.
It was
No,
amazing.
you're right,
And then
man. You're right.
And then you're just gonna sweep all that under the rug.
It's hard for wrestlers, man. You gotta remember, like, I imagine we're gonna get back to the show. I'll hit it up really quick because definitely time is of the essence. Me and Rob here are
Yes.
long-winded, but yeah, you got to think, man. With wrestlers, you got to think, like, I've heard so many wrestlers compare to the feeling you get out there like a drug. You know, just the admiration or the reaction of the crowd. The you have so much attention on you. It's like a drug, you know. And then to other people, it's a paycheck. You know, it's a job, and not all wrestlers. Now, the Undertaker, I would hope, is set for life.
If he's not set for life, then
yeah,
Vince, what are you doing?
Yeah, man. It's either that or he's got some spending issues, but you know, not everybody has that luxury, you know, and then not all wrestlers, you know, have a backup plan. Like they don't have the trade or skills to really carry over to many other jobs. So I imagine it's not so clear cut, but with the Taker, it's hard, man, because I get where you're coming from, especially because it was so personal to you. You know, like to you, there's that moment.
It hit me so hard. Like I got goosebumps on my arms right now.
Yeah.
What they did with this man, like, it was so absolutely perfect. What I think, if they're gonna try to do it again, and I'm gonna turn my TV off, I'm like, no.
What I think most people would compare this to is, now I know this was during your blackout period that you weren't watching, but did you ever go back and watch the Ric Flair Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania?
I've seen simply because HBK is my boo.
Yeah.
I've seen the Sweet Chin music. I never watched the match.
No,
but I've seen the emotional Sweet Chin music.
You gotta watch the full match to grasp it, especially with the promo package leading into it. That way, it saves you various other segments. But that was like the apex send off of Ric Flair.
Yes.
Nothing
yes. And I see that 100%.
Yeah.
And I might actually catch some blocks for this one. I never cared for Flair. That's why I never went.
I fell in love with Flair.
I'll be 100% honest.
I fell in love with Flair well after he was done wrestling. As like when I was younger, growing up, especially seeing him in like WCW and stuff, I didn't get his character. But then once I became an adult, and I learned the life and the what would you say, like the life and the gimmick and how much they blended and practically were one and the same. Like Ric Flair's character was the same in and out the ring, apparently, you know, and
right.
I guess you know what? Actually, instead of recommending matches to watch for Flair, watch ESPN's 30 for 30 with Ric Flair. That is some of the best stuff, dude. You'll see, and I think it's only like a half hour to an hour long. But man, if Ric Flair, now granted, he comes across like he is the man. Now granted, most of the crap that he's done, you would not be able to live with if you were doing it too. But it's like somewhere in every guy, it's like, dude, I want to be Ric Flair. Like, I want to live that life.
It's there. I see why. He's a boss. I will give him that. He's a legend. I'll give him that. It wasn't for me. That's what it was. And they'll never listen to us. But one of the guys from Talkamania, I forget which one. I'm sorry, guys.
No, we'll do this last one. Then we're gonna get back on. Yeah, we'll get back on track.
They said they don't like Ric Flair either, and like that's kind of the moment where I was like, you know what, me either. Like it's, I don't know. He's the man. He's a legend. He deserves everything he got. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah. I hear you, man, and like I said, I can see it. That's why I speak. You know, I joke a lot. So a lot of it's in jest, but I've always joked about Bret Hart and how he just never caught my eye, and I know how passionate about people are about him. You know. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
Hart's the man. I literally got called an idiot because
yeah, you will.
Better.
Jesus.
But, I mean, it's not like I was saying Hornswoggle.
Yeah, let's get back to Raw now,
after
okay?
the Taker promo, who do we got? After the Taker promo?
Lacey and Natalya. Lacey Evans and Natalya out in the ring with Corbin on the outside.
Both looking so sexy. Oh, my God.
Jesus. Lacey ends up winning after Corbin trips Natalya while she was running the ropes.
Nope,
hits her with the women's right. That's it, man. 1, 2, 3. I didn't really have much for this. Now, was this after the awkward Lacey Corbin promo that was backstage?
That was a great promo.
Yeah, I bet you would say that. Anyway, so that was Lacey Evans picks up a win on Natalya. Then we get our weekly 2 out of 3 match between Elias and The Miz. It's a rematch from last week. The Miz gets a skull-crushing finale pretty much right off the back, pins Elias in probably 30 seconds. The match continues. We don't cut to commercial. They announce... Commentary says they will cut to commercial after the second fall, which pretty much...
they made it a point to tell us. It's not the first one this time, guys. It's the second one.
It'll be the second one.
And then when we come back, we have a regular match.
Yeah, so Elias fights his way back. Eventually, he hits the drift away to make it 1-1. Get that commercial break. I do like how the match picked up, and there was some psychology to it afterwards. The fight between Elias and Miz is pretty good. It ends up on the outside. Elias does a running knee and hits the ring post with his knee, allowing Miz to target his leg, eventually getting the figure 4. Does pretty much like a cheap variation of Charlotte's figure 8, like a half back bend. But he does get Elias to tap out to the figure 4, and someone who ever listens to this, if you can remember the last time Miz got a win with the figure 4, let me know, because this was my first time that I can recall having him tap out anybody with it. So that was pretty cool to me. Match was all right. They didn't burden us too much with the 2 out of 3s, and I would say that the other matches masked the commercial breaks like okay, I guess, since we're still doing them, instead of making them blatant, like announcing that this is a elimination match and we're gonna have 2 out of 3 falls match. At least the other ones made them feel kind of spontaneous. Like I said, the New Day versus the Viking Raiders, and then Joe and Kofi coming in afterwards.
This match announced at break.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I know. It's still not great, but hey, it is what it is.
It's better than it was. I'm not complaining. I am, but I should stop.
So,
okay, I'm sorry, guys.
So the next match we have is so here's the low for me, and it pains me to say it, but it's not so much due to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, but what happened with Mike and Maria Kanellis. So the match goes like this. Earlier in the night, we have semi-cringy promo between Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Becky is kind of jabbing on Seth for being impulsive while he's trying to be like, I'm not impulsive. And it's all kind of played out. I assume it's kind of.
I want to throw it out there. I'm trying not to complain, guys.
Yeah.
I don't like the Seth Becky love angle. I don't.
But you love Baron and Lacey.
I don't hate it. And I was actually just gonna say it has nothing to do with Baron and Lacey. Like, no, I don't like Seth and Becky because I like Baron and Lacey. But this complaint has nothing to do with
I feel
any
like
of my
it's
favorite
forced.
wrestlers.
I think you're taking two people who have a relationship that they're trying to be genuine.
I'm going deeper than that.
Okay, go ahead.
The whole impulsive thing, when Becky goes.
Yeah, it's.
That's where I hit you and Benji up and was like, bro, what is this? Come on, what are you doing?
Well, it's not aspects of her character that she's good at. You know, Becky Lynch isn't like the end all be all. So you play to her strengths.
Right.
She has an attitude. She's badass. She don't take no shit. When you have her start trying to act all coy and act all flirty and
she goes.
Yeah, it like I said, it's just not her.
I don't know why it bugged me so much. That part of the segment, like the rest of it, okay. I didn't like it, but it's okay. You know, there's bad and good. But that particular moment.
Yeah, I know.
It rubbed me the wrong way, like hard. I'm
no,
like, what are you doing?
I was cringing watching it, man. I wasn't mad at her. You know what it is, man. You know it's backstage, like, oh, you guys are such a cute couple, because I bet they're adorable. You know, I bet they are adorable, and they're like, we need to put cameras on you and make it into a story, and it just does not translate to wrestling. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I probably am. You know,
I did see somebody mention a rumor about they're trying to play after the match with Extreme Rules that Seth posed this to Becky.
No.
Like, I just remembered that I seen that. I swear to God. Somebody tweeted it. It could be just them
block
pulling it out of their
Block
ass.
them on Twitter right now. That
but,
is.
I mean, you
BS.
can't put that aside with what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, or it could be the angle they had before they said, "Hey, Heyman and Bischoff take lead," and now they're like, "No, that's stupid."
You know, I wouldn't be surprised because you know Vince probably would do something like that. But well, anyways, this is where it gets like a little weird because, like I said, the impulsive comment I felt like was a jab at what was going on between Seth and Ospreay on Twitter, which I'm actually happy to see that Seth kind of backtracked himself, but that's a story for another day.
Yes, he did tweet and say he was sorry.
Yeah, and that he was wrong for getting carried away.
For bringing up his bank account.
You got to remember where you're from. Yeah, because you and Ospreay are cut from the same cloth, man. You know what I mean? And he acknowledged that. So, so this brought out Mike and Maria Kanellis, and this is where it gets awkward because we're still backstage.
Now, I do want to ask real quick. Give me a condensed version. Who are these people? I don't know who they are.
Mike, formerly known as Mike Bennett, and Maria Kanellis are a real-life married couple. The angle is that Mike took Maria's last name in wrestling, but essentially they're just a heel married couple that in real life have had some issues that stopped any story progression for them, and they're pretty much stuck on 205 Live right now.
So that's why I've never seen them.
Yeah, exactly. Maria Kanellis has the famous video clip of her dancing on the ring apron in New Japan, distracting Carl Anderson and AJ Styles, and it's charming and it's hilarious and it's sexy. It's actually a really funny video. But if you've ever seen Maria Kanellis from somewhere, it's that clip because that clip's been shared a million times. Yeah. But anyways.
Okay. Right
so this is where it gets a little weird. Maria Kanellis acknowledges Becky Lynch tapped or pinned Ronda Rousey, but says that Maria is tougher than her because she gave birth. And I was like, not taking anything away from women, not trying to downplay childbirth, but I saw Jack the Jobber. He said something that really resonated with me. He said, "I've seen a lot of people. In fact, a lot of women have given childbirth. Not all those women have pinned Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, though. So like." I don't know. It kind of resonated with me, but I don't want to sound like I'm downplaying like childbirth because I watched my wife give childbirth twice. You have 4 kids yourself. It's no joke. We are not one to touch on what you really go through with that, so leave it alone. But this is where it gets awkward is when Maria refers to her husband Mike as her bitch. And she's like, "My bitch will take on your bitch, and we'll do it in a tag match." Like, it's like
called Seth Rollins a bitch, and it made me happy.
Dude, this all I could think about was, and now I'm not tossed up like in all political, but I mean, in retrospect, all I could think about was like, boy, if the roles were reversed. And it was Seth Rollins saying, "My bitch can take on Mike's bitch."
Vince McMahon would be stewed, and WWE would be boycotted, and there would be hashtags all over the place. Yeah.
So that's. But like I said, I wasn't up in arms. It made me like, man, it really. People.
Yes,
there are
yes.
some double standards, but oh well. It is
But
what it is.
They could, in my opinion, they couldn't have pulled it off if Becky Lynch wasn't the man.
Yeah,
Becky Lynch wasn't the
that's
man,
true.
they wouldn't have used that spot.
Yeah, I mean, Becky does have some leverage with that gimmick. I'll say that it gives her some extra machismo. But anyways, it does set up the mixed tag match between Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus Mike and Maria Kanellis. The match starts off between Seth and Mike. Seth pretty much owns him the whole time. He forces Maria to tag in. At that point, when Becky goes to take on Maria, she runs around. She gets the mic. It doesn't kick on right away, but she does a good enough job stalling until the audio does pick up, in which case she screams that she's pregnant. Right? And this is where an awkward segment just turns real awkward and painful at some points, man. So she's like, I'm pregnant. And I'm thinking, like, okay, cool. This will offer the distraction, whatever. Like, but then she goes off and just drags Mike through the dirt. Okay, like, she's like, it can't be your baby because you're not man enough to impregnate me. I'm like, you just gave birth to his child, so this is a little awkward. But then after she says that, Becky, yanks Mike back in the ring, taps him out with a disarm him. Which, by the way, they rang the bell and everything, but Mike wasn't the legal person. Maria was. Just a heads up, y'all. So I don't know what they were doing in that match. But, anyways.
they were setting up for somebody to get tapped at Extreme.
Yeah, they needed something, man. But Seth and Becky, they take off, and then Maria just. This gets super awkward, man. I mean, she degrades Mike to the point where it's painful to watch. And then eventually she's like, if I get pregnant again, it'll be Becky Lynch's baby because she's more of a man than you are. Like, I'm just like, man, I don't know if that's how that works. But anyways, it was rough. It was the low moment of the night.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I hate Raw for it or anything because Raw was really good.
No, not at all.
But, oh, God, it wasn't
I actually tweeted it out. Who was it?
It was bad, though. It was rough.
Somebody tweeted out talking about those criticizing Heyman for the bad spots. Obviously didn't watch ECW.
Yeah, I saw that.
70% good, 20% cringe, and 10% what the fuck.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's 101 life, man. Like, you gotta have the bad to make the good better.
Yeah, nothing's gonna be on all the time. And then, not to mention,
they're gonna do it again.
That segment had Vince McMahon written all over it too. By the way, I bet that had nothing to do with Heyman.
Vince was like, all right, you can have our monsters blow through the stage, but I'm getting my stupid segment here.
Pretty much. Heyman's backstage doing a promo. Brock might be here. He might not be here. And then before we can get into that same promo we've heard 100 times, Street Profits come out, and they just start ribbing him and jabbing him, and they essentially annoy him to the point where Heyman walks off, and it was super charming. I can't go on about exactly how they were saying their jokes, but the Street Profits were a blast, and I'm actually excited to see what happens with them, and I'm nervous,
Did we skip the fact that they were there earlier? I think you accidentally skipped that fact.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like the backstage segments, I forgot to take down in the notes, so I had to refer to them later in the show.
I mean, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But the Street Profits were flashed at the start of Raw, and then they did a promo, and I don't remember what the promo was. Again, I have a bad memory, guys. I don't remember this stuff. You couldn't
Yeah.
But the reason I remembered was they were wearing the NXT tag title.
Right.
Like, up until tonight, the NXT didn't exist. Now, you got the Street Profits on there wearing the tag titles. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good, man.
I thought that was worth noting. Like, is that another Heyman change, or did Vince not notice? Or?
Well, time will tell, man. Time will tell, because the Viking Raiders, they came up as NXT champions, but they didn't come out with the belts.
But they didn't have the belts. They got their names changed and were squashed in one night.
Yeah, it was rough, man. It was so rough. But I'd rather not remember that. So we're gonna go on to here. We come out. We have a moment of bliss interviewing Nikki Cross. So we have Alexa Bliss interviewing her best friend, Nikki Cross. While they're bantering, Carmella comes out. She does argue that Nikki Cross deserves the title shot, not Bliss, due to Nikki Cross's victory over Bayley. Bliss insults Carmella, so Carmella pulls out her hoop earrings and challenges her to a match, which is accepted, and Carmella beats Alexa Bliss in seconds with a roll-up, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. And then, so Alexa Bliss, sends Nikki in to defend her honor, which Nikki does, and ends up winning with her neckbreaker finish, furthering the angle that Nikki deserves this title shot way more than Alexa Bliss does. And I'm intrigued. Nikki Cross is definitely getting the biggest push of her career so far. And this is only the course over the course of the last 2 weeks. So I'm excited, man, to see where this is going. We had some stuff earlier with the 24/7 champion, R-Truth. I kind of held off to sum it all up right here in one big cluster. Earlier in the night, Drake Maverick is seen bringing his wife into the arena blindfolded, celebrating their wedding honeymoon. When he removes the blindfold and reveals that she's at Raw, obviously she's not happy, because I don't know any woman that wants to show up at a wrestling event for their honeymoon. Just my experience.
My wife and I went to Cleveland for baseball.
Oh, there you go. My wife and I, we went to a concert. We went to Carolina Rebellion. We saw Slipknot, man. Yeah. But
Slipknot for your honeymoon. That's excellent.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. His wife is obviously aggravated. She then proclaims that he cares more about the title than her, and he needs to choose. He reluctantly chooses her. This sets off the shenanigans of the night, because it essentially has Truth dangling that belt in front of Maverick and his wife the whole time, and Maverick has to begrudgingly not pursue the belt because his wife is there. This starts off first with let me see here. I believe it started off with Truth being in the conga line with Noe Jose's match against Cesaro.
And that didn't happen.
Huh?
We skipped that, guys. There was supposed to be a Cesaro Noe Jose match, but it didn't happen.
Yeah. So that's
Noe Jose.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to touch on. It was there was a match earlier in the night that was supposed to take place between Noe Jose and Cesaro. As Noe Jose is coming down, he's got his conga line members dancing all behind him. Truth's at the tail end. He spots Maverick's wife in the crowd, sitting front row, starts dancing with his wife, which, boy, that would get me heated, man. That would get me heated, dude. At one point,
I don't care if it's kayfabe. Get the fuck out of here.
Boy, at one point, Truth is laying on the barricade, just baiting Maverick to pin him, and Maverick is looking like he wants to, but he can't because he's a good husband. Anyways, while this is all happening, the mid-card locker room, they all come down to chase Truth like they normally do. It interrupts the match between Jose and Cesaro. Cesaro beats down No Way Jose, and that's pretty much it for that part. Later on in the evening, by this point, Maverick and his wife are leaving the arena. His wife, I believe, says she wants to go freshen up in the bathroom, at which point the mid-card can be seen running through the halls past Maverick. He can't join them. As they exit scene, Truth comes out of nowhere looking exhausted. He's like, man, this is exhausting, having to keep up with this the whole time. They essentially say no hard feelings as Truth walks off. Maverick hits him with his luggage, lays him out, pins him. Dude, if you haven't seen it, go back, watch that ref. Dude, that ref came in like at full speed and slid across that concrete floor.
Give me a ref. Dude, and he happened to be right there. Dude, and he did a baseball slide. Yes, I know.
You did notice that? Because it wasn't like the ref just was like right there and then like got down. Like, no, that ref came in at full sprint, dude. And full on. 1, 2, 3. Maverick's your new 24/7 champion. His wife comes out. She's wondering what's going on. Maverick grabs her. They take off, saying that Maverick says we not only can we celebrate our honeymoon, but we can celebrate it 24/7. I think is what he said. Left his luggage behind. Didn't even give a damn about his luggage. I was like, nah, screw the luggage. We're out of here. You know? But it was good, man. It tickled me pink, man. Maverick is just almost, I would say almost just as entertaining in the 24/7 saga as Truth is now. And they really play off each other. So it's good, man. It's all good. I'm smiling talking about it because it's some of the funnest stuff on wrestling right now. And then we got essentially now next we have the main event between Ricochet and AJ Styles. Leading up to this, we earlier in the night had a segment. Ricochet's being interviewed, talking about his previous match with AJ Styles. He's essentially showing AJ Styles respect during that interview when Anderson and Gallows come in to kind of like sit there and jab at him a little bit. Not like bully, but they're being like overly friendly, and there's like a mean alternative here, but they're not trying to be dinks to you outright. And they're trying to bait him into talking trash. Well, and eventually they end up going back to Styles. They say that he is talking trash, and AJ Styles and them have a back and forth. Essentially, they're both saying the same thing. The old you was better, saying that Anderson and Gallows used to win, and then they're saying that Styles barely got through Ricochet, and Styles isn't as good as he was when he was younger. Said the old Styles would walk up to Ricochet right now and slap him in the face. This is when I got excited, because I was like, yes, we're going to get Styles with an edge. We're going to get... When they said that, there was like, there's no way Styles is going to pass on this, right? So Styles walks up to Ricochet backstage, says, I heard you talking trash, kind of like a high school thing, Ricochet was like, no, none of it. Styles doesn't care nonetheless. He's like, we're going to have a match for that title. Ricochet acknowledges it, says, yeah, we'll do it. Goes to shake Styles' hand. Styles slaps Ricochet with the loudest damn slap that I have heard on TV since I can do. I was like, oh my God. When I heard that, I was like, dude, he loosened a molar when he hit his ass. And poor Ricochet gave it back to him, but kind of got him on the neck. So it didn't hit with near as much force as when Styles hit him. Oh my God, dude, I was so hyped. And then Styles gonna hit Ricochet, but pulled back and like showing his teeth and growled and was like, "This is gonna be fun." I was like, "Oh man, I'm so hyped." Dude, I was like, "Yes, this is so good." The match came, man, and it was good, man. It wasn't pay-per-view quality. They didn't lay it all out there. I think this is gonna lead to something really good, over the top. I know it will. But for the match that we had, early in the match, Styles hits a phenomenal forearm. And Rob, I'll let you chime in here. Styles hits a phenomenal forearm, pins Ricochet for the 1, 2, 3. But the controversy is that Ricochet's leg was under the ropes. Did you know that that's supposed to break up a pin, Rob?
Now, I'm assuming you've seen my tweet, and
yeah,
that's why
exactly.
You are calling me out on this.
Well, then I've been talking for like the last 5 minutes, so I had to give you some airtime.
I was waiting for a chime, man. It just wasn't there, bro. Like this is why I said I'm the B guy. Okay, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not know that was a thing. My figures on my desk just fell because I hit my desk.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently it happened during my blackout area, which is fine. And somebody actually commented on my tweet and like said that like the ref called it off because somebody's hair broke the plane. That's fine. Okay. I didn't know that you could break the plane and it counts as a rope break. My thing is, if you can break the plane, why can't you just touch the rope? Like, breaking the plane, I think, is a stupid rule. I think that's dumb. Like, if the guy's knocked out and he gets thunked down and his foot crosses the plane, oh no, you can't pin him.
You're out, man. You don't even have it in you to grab the rope. I can see that.
Like, so I mean, it's not that big a deal, but I didn't know that it was a thing. Now, the biggest deal is the people on Twitter commenting to me like I'm an idiot. Like, it's been a thing
man,
forever.
let's not go there.
Okay, so it's been a thing.
You guys, man, come on with Rob. He admits on every show that he missed a significant amount of time.
Right.
It's not like back when Austin and Rock were going that breaking the plane was calling off pinfalls, because it wasn't. You had to grab the rope. Your foot had to be on the rope.
Right.
That's why when you had people on the outside and they grabbed your foot, they didn't just slide it under the rope. They placed it on the rope, okay? Be nice to Rob. Leave him alone.
Thank you. I mean, it wasn't that many people, but there were a couple people that, like, one even quoted me, and was like, since forever, bro. Like, you can't just say, like, always
yeah,
been a thing.
Man.
All right, thanks, bro. I appreciate the input that it's always been a thing. But yes, you are 100% right. Back in the day, your foot had to be on the rope. They never did under the rope, and I don't know, whatever. It's not that big a deal, but I didn't know it was a thing. I don't think it should be a thing. I really don't. I think you should have hit the rope. But, whatever. It's beside the point. There's worse things in wrestling.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw it. It was a couple years ago, but it was a thing for me too. That like I can agree with you because it wasn't always a thing. I can't remember the exact match it was, and it was a while ago. But I do remember seeing a match where they broke the plane, and it was interrupted, and at that point I was like, oh shoot, I don't remember it being like that, And so like it wasn't always like that. At some point it changed. It'd be good trivia. Can someone chime in? Tell us the first time after the Attitude Era that they started accepting this as a rule, because man, I don't know. Rob didn't know.
I think it could be classified as one of the things that it is maybe in the actual rule book, but they pull it as they need it. They change just like they did with the
cage matches,
Miz match,
or the cage matches with the door. It wasn't always the rule, but eventually.
No, and I think the door is stupid.
It is so
like while you're
stupid,
talking about
dude.
that,
Yeah.
like now, at the same time, the way Kofi won his match against Dolph Ziggler, that was amazing. So, and you can't have that amazing without the door. So I don't know. It's like
that was the perfect way to place it. That was, but that's a story for another time. Well, let's.
But pinfalls and submissions in cage matches.
That wasn't a thing too. Yeah.
But I think the whole breaking the plane thing is another. It can classify as it was always there, but they're gonna modify it as needed and hope you don't remember the last time it happened.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. But so just like you said though.
Also in the Attitude Era, if the ref didn't see your foot on the rope, that was it. You lost.
Dude, and that's still today, man. That's just it depends on the narrative, man. That is still true today, dude. But apparently it mattered today because
and one more quick plug. One more quick topic plug. Go ahead. I am waiting for a championship to change on wrestler A pins champion B. And the ref counts, and it's a 2 count, and the ref says, and the wrestler says, you counted slow, that was a 3 count. And the ref says, you know what, it was. Ding, 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 you're the champ.
It's an interesting one, and it's doable.
Imagine the heat that would cause.
Oh, that is doable. If a wrestler was able to influence the ref into changing the decision.
If done right, that could work.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. That'd be true. You could probably do it with someone who's threatening him, like a heel threatening him. Like, I'm going to beat the piss out of you.
Samoa Joe, man. Do it with Samoa Joe.
And the ref's like, I'm sorry, man. Pisses himself and then rings the bell. Yeah, I can see that.
Right. And then, boom, the belt changes hands. You're right. That was 3. I counted too slow. I'm sorry.
Anyways, another ref comes out because, remember, AJ Styles hit that phenomenal forearm with Ricochet's leg under the rope. So even after the 3 count happened, another ref comes out, and this is when I was like, dang, man, we're just going to commercial, aren't we? And that's exactly what happened. We come back from commercial. Once again, the match is really good. It's going back and forth. We don't get a definitive, like a person laid out winner here, considering, because I guess the match didn't really start till after the commercial. So the match is back and forth. Ricochet ends up getting the win. He gets a reversal with a roll-up and then kind of bridges, showing how good of a wrestler Ricochet is. And he gets the 1, 2, 3. And then this is where it turned on for me. Because this is what I've been wanting for a while. AJ Styles gets up, and then he gives the old, veteran shaking the young guy's hand. We have respect. And then when AJ turns around, and I can see the Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows, just clapping, mocking him. Like, oh, such a good guy, AJ. I was like, oh, boy. Yeah, AJ, your boys are calling you out now. You do look kind of like a punk. Yeah, man. Good Brothers come up on the ring apron looking like they're going to jump. Ricochet looks ready to defend himself. AJ's trying to play peacekeeper. He's in the middle. You can see from the camera angle behind the Good Brothers, AJ lipping like, oh, you want it? You want it? And then he's like, okay. And he smiles and he turns and cocks Ricochet, man. Lays him the hell out. Ricochet can sell a punch, by the way, because it looked like he got knocked out. Like, so good. AJ, the beatdown continues, man. They hit him with a magic killer. Ultimately, they get the AJ hits a Styles Clash from the second rope. Oh my God, it was good. We end the night with a big 2 Sweet with the newly reformed club, and I super happy. They're missing a member.
Now,
they're missing
AJ. Okay, yes, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gallows and Anderson and AJ Styles were Bullet Club, correct?
Yes. They were.
Okay. And then Finn Balor is the founder of the Bullet Club, but they're
right.
not.
Yeah, because
okay.
AJ took over.
That.
Yeah, AJ took over after Finn Balor left.
I use this as a plug for my daughter because she hasn't been in this show. I explained to her because she legit asked me, like, she stayed up for the entire Raw last night. That makes me so happy.
Nice.
Anyway, she stayed up for the entire Raw. And she asked me, why is AJ Styles all of a sudden talking to, and then she goes, who is that? And I said, Gallows and Anderson. And she goes, oh, what's their tag team name? And I said, that's Gallows and Anderson. They don't have a name. And I proceeded to explain to her what I recently learned from you guys, the whole Bullet Club thing. And then when I was done talking to her, I'm like, wait, did I botch that? Like, again, that's my bad memory, guys. Like, I don't know.
No,
so I got it right. I explained to her. And then she looked at me and she goes, well, why isn't Finn Balor with his friends? I was like, he's the Intercontinental Champion. He has to do his own thing. When in reality is, why is he not with his friends? That's an excellent question. Like, you're bringing these two together. Why isn't he with them if he's the founder? But, I mean, it's a Vince thing, and I'm not trying to complain. But
yeah.
So I explained to her right, so that makes me happy. It makes me happy she's asking me things like this.
Makes
really
me happy
does.
too, man. Makes me happy that little Rob is spreading his birdie wings and flying with this information now.
It's so great. Like, she's slowly, like, she'll pay attention and then walk away, and then pay attention and walk away. But last night she sat on the couch for the whole episode. Like, it was so great. I think the Lashley and Strowman thing got her hooked. Because, like,
yeah.
I didn't mention it earlier.
That'll wake you up. You see something like that, man, especially as a kid. Yeah. But I mean,
like, I forget why I got sidetracked, or not sidetracked, pulled away for something, and then I came back to her saying, "Oh my God, this just happened," and I think that hooked her. So I mean, Heyman, good job. You hooked my 9-year-old to actually watch.
No, I mean that's yeah, man. You start the show off with a bang, and you're likely to pay attention. And
I do want to mention they should have kept the damn Titantron off. Why did you bring it back?
No, the section that they went through. They had that taped off. Like that never got turned back on.
They had it taped off, but you blew out the electric part of it.
Oh, I see what you
keep it off
for the rest of the night.
Amazing, guys! They blew off the Titantron. It was unfixable. That's how you heighten your story.
That would honestly, that's pretty interesting, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that at all.
I seen a few tweets asking, why did you bring it back? Like, if you're gonna go big. Go big. They don't have videos tonight, guys. We broke the Titantron.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's cool. You know what I miss? While we're on the topic of Titantron, I miss the video packages, like that you used to get back in the Attitude Era. So,
like, it wasn't like KO's name. Like, I used KO because I noticed how
you'd see the highlights. You'd see their their in-ring highlights.
When the Titantron was introduced. Yes. 100%. I am with you 100%.
I miss that, man. I do. I miss the video packages. Yeah, they do.
It was HBK's was him and Triple H like doing the suck it thing. And what's funny is like it was like their intro was to say 2 minutes long. It was the same video, 30-second video looped 4 times.
Yeah.
But it was still amazing. Like the D-Generation X one was like the green X that kind of went with the beat. And then there was the Riot Squad coming through on a crowd, and yes. 100%.
Did you know that? Did you know that whole riot scene was actually shot on the top of the Titan Towers or whatever, like WWE's headquarters? Like that was shot on the roof of their headquarters. Yeah, I can't remember what documentary I saw, but I learned that. I was like, oh, that's a nice little trivia fact. But anyways, let's get to the questions, man. We actually have some questions. I'll start it off. We have a question from, I believe, AJ at the Backseat Bookers.
You prepped me for a couple of these. I honestly forgot what they were.
No. It's all good. It's all good. This was the big one. He says, if you were head of creative, who would you push who would you push to the top if you were head of creative on Raw and SmackDown? So I say we do it like this. We both come up with a male and female on Raw and SmackDown. So 4 people in total. I'll start with Raw. Who would I push, man? It's hard to say because you look at who they're pushing now. I would say this. I would push AJ Styles. I'd keep that push going. And then female-wise, who do they got on Raw? I mean, it's still Becky. I mean, yeah, Becky's run on Raw isn't over yet, so I would do AJ and Becky. Over on SmackDown, I would do probably, who's a big name on SmackDown right now? Probably Daniel Bryan and Ember Moon is who I would do on SmackDown. So those are my picks.
Speaking of Daniel Bryan, real quick.
Yeah.
They announced the new figure packages they got coming out because I'm into figures, guys. Just so you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Iconics, and then it's gonna be the Usos, and then it's gonna be Daniel Bryan, and I think it was an AJ Styles, and then one more. I forget who it was. Anyway, I showed my wife. I was like, look, I want all 4 of these packages. She's like, Daniel Bryan's not coming to my house. I was dying. She absolutely hates Daniel Bryan.
Really?
She can't stand him. She can't stand him. She can't stand his beard. She can't stand his face. She can't stand his voice. She's like, where does he come from? They need to add son to where he comes from. Get him off my television. She'll be in my bedroom, and he'll come on the TV, and I'll hear her and be like, get him off my TV. I don't like him. I'll play his music in the van, and she'll give me such a dirty look. She can't stand.
Rise of the Valkyries, come on, man.
I think if he was Daniel Bryan, it'd probably be different.
He's such a good
heel. He did
heel.
his job.
Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good. He's so good at what he does. On to the question: who would I push? This might be a little biased, guys. Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans.
There you go.
I would push them on both episodes simply because I would pull the wild card rule. If you're gonna use the wild card rule, use your wild card rule. Don't throw darts. And let's bring Shane this week and the Viking Raiders next week. And use your.
I do like rotation, man. I do like rotation.
And keep it consistent. And the reason I say that is, yes, I'm a newly found heel. I like my Baron Corbin. I like my Lacey Evans. I like my Daniel Bryan. I like being the bad guy. It's more interesting, in my opinion. I won't get into that, but I will get into. I say you push them both because you got fans that are going to tune in to Extreme Rules to see if Becky keeps her title. I think you're going to get more viewers if they're going to tune in to see if Becky gets her title back. If you have the baby faces chasing, more people are going to watch. From what I've noticed, I don't break the stuff down. I really don't. That's why I enjoy anything they throw at me. I don't break the shit down. I don't look at it from the backstage perspective. I don't look at it from a writer's perspective. I don't look at it as who should be pushed, who shouldn't. I look at it for what it is. And what I've noticed is the baby faces are better when they're chasing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So you push Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. You make me happy, the one out of 20 guys, and then the other 19 guys are tuning in to see if they make me happy.
It's a good one, man. Next up, we have Shining Wizards at Wizards Podcast. These guys are the ones who sent me out that nice little merch package for the Twitter contest I won the other week.
Right on. With the
Hell yeah, man! With the Cody
buddy.
Rhodes, I still wear that junk, man.
Yeah, buddy.
They said, let me see here. They gave me a question. I said, okay, that one I'm going to answer on SmackDown. Oh, here we go. For Raw, they asked, we've seen the club before, so this is probably more for me because you haven't. You're unfamiliar with the club. What are your expectations? Will it take off or fizzle out like a cheap firework? I guess you could still answer this because this isn't so much comparing them to their first run. as it is asking us, is this a wise move?
Basically asking, is Gallows, Anderson, and AJ gonna fizzle?
Is it? Yeah. Are they gonna be good or are they gonna be bad?
Okay.
I'm gonna say they're gonna be good because the three of them, these guys have known each other for so long. They've got so much chemistry. I couldn't imagine them not entertaining every time they're on TV. I don't know if they're going to get the biggest title opportunities, but I know if the screen is on them, their natural chemistry is going to be good. So I'm going to say that they're going to be good, and my expectations are medium high. I'm not saying they're gonna win all the gold. I'm saying they're going to be medium high. AJ will probably get a belt, while Anderson and Gallows back them up, and they're going to be fun to watch. So that's me.
I'll agree with that. That sounds about right. AJ Styles doesn't do it for me. I didn't care for AJ Styles. I see why people do. I say that in everything. Like, I see why wrestlers get their pushes. Just like Ric Flair earlier. I mean, it just wasn't for me. AJ Styles, he's not for me. Like, I see why he's there. It just wasn't for me. But now that he's turning heel, I'm kind of like, wait, this guy's kind of cool. Like, he came out like, yeah, ooh, look me, I'm AJ Styles. Now he's slapping Ricochet in the face. So that was kind of cool. That might be because I've turned heel and I like the heels maybe, and that just hit me. But Gallows and Anderson haven't been used much. They're starting to be used, and they're getting my attention. I'm like, wow, these guys are kind of cool. So you're mixing them with AJ Styles. I don't think they're going to fizzle. I don't think they're going to get gold, just like you said. I don't think they're going to be high card. I think they are going to get more TV time because they're with AJ Styles. I've seen it on Twitter, people have been wanting AJ to flip. He's starting to do that. It wasn't a Brutus the Barber beefcake, Shawn Michaels super kicking Marty Jannetty flip.
No.
But it was a flip, and it's going to make people happy. I think they're going to get their TV time. AJ will probably get a belt. He might not even get the U.S. title. Who knows? But they're not going to fizzle. I don't think they're
If you want them to exceed expectations, you throw Finn Balor in there. You wait a couple weeks. Maybe you wait a week or two. I don't know. But what you do is
you let Nakamura take his title and let him go off and do his own thing.
That, or maybe you have him come in
happy by giving him the Intercontinental title.
I say let him come in with the IC championship and let AJ win the US championship, and then you have a story for when the
got gold.
Yeah, the club has got gold, and then you've got a story for how to break them up when it's time to.
Ooh.
Because then you could have, like, who's the real man in the group? Is it the original Bullet Club leader in Finn Balor? Or is it AJ Styles? They both got gold. You know what I mean?
And then you have them flip and you build a WrestleMania match. Holy shit.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, there's a lot to digest, man. I blew your mind. Yeah.
Wow, you really did. Holy shit. I don't look at stuff like that, but oh my God.
But, so I got one more question. We'll answer... and then we're going to leave the MJF one for SmackDown just because there were so many Raw questions. And I'm going to let you answer this one because this feels like a question for you. JM and Yeeski, at WWF_anonymous, our good buddies at the Fickle Fan Podcast, right? Did I say that right?
Yes. Check them out, guys. They're good. They're just like us.
They're so fun.
They don't get too depth. They just bullshit, and it's amazing.
They are so fun, dude. Anyways, they ask. Well, it's a two-part question, but I'm gonna let you answer the second part, and then we'll answer the first part because they're not too big. The second part is: does Rollins and Becky Lynch seem like an episode of Degrassi now?
You asked me this earlier. I don't know what Degrassi is. But I didn't tell you that because I wanted to leave this hanging as I don't know what Degrassi is. But I'm going to assume that it's some sort of love connection type show.
It's an
like soap opera-ish show.
It's an it's an older Nickelodeon like soap opera show, kind of like a Nickelodeon like kids and teen show, which if I remember correctly originally, I don't know if it ran the whole time, but the fans got to vote on the storylines that took place. But it was ultimately a bunch of teeny bopper stuff. A little side note, it's where Drake was found though. Drake was a character on the show.
Boom, I know exactly what you're talking about now. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
But it was a Nickelodeon teen show way back in the day, man. Yeah.
No,
It's cringy.
Okay, yeah, you can definitely compare the two. And what gets me is like,
dude, the reference got me choked up.
that is kind of funny. The reason I kind of I kind of stirred away from wrestling back in the Attitude Era for the infamous Blackout era I keep talking about. Part of that was because it became like more of a soap opera. And that's kind of why I went away. I'm like, I don't want. I mean, it was probably always a soap opera. I just never noticed.
Right.
But that's kind of why I stirred away, and that's probably why I don't like the best storyline. Or the Becky Seth storyline. Like, it's just I don't want to see it. I don't want to see love stories. I don't want to see nothing like that. I want to see wrestling. I want to see guys saying you're a piece of shit and I'm gonna beat you in the ring, and then they wrestle.
Seems like today's the day to watch that too, man. With the cuss words and the derogatory stuff they get away with. Yeah, man. So here's the last question of the evening. It's definitely the most brief one, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. You said, was this episode of Raw the first step to redemption? And you know what? The simple answer is, man,
yes.
You keep it up like this, absolutely. You know, let's see where it goes.
I stayed awake for the whole thing.
Rob was awake for the whole show.
It's hard. I don't fall asleep because it's boring. I fall asleep because I wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I work hard. I work 65 hours a week. I have a very physical job. I work 10 hours a day. I'm on my feet. I'm constantly moving. I'm lifting boxes. I have a physical job. I am tired at 10 o'clock at night, and I want it to be over. But this one kept me awake.
Yeah, man.
The whole way through. It kept me awake. And I was ready to play some Destiny afterward, but I said, no, I got to wake up early.
Yeah. Got those responsibilities.
The answer is yes. And I don't think we need to get into why. If you
no, man. I mean, really, it was good. It was fun. That's all you got to do, man. It's just you entertain the people, and we'll keep watching, and that's how you redeem yourself. I
did want to bring it up that like way earlier in the segment.
Yeah, go ahead.
They caught. I mean, I don't know how long it's been, but they caught a "This is awesome" chant and a "Holy shit" chant in a matter of 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, right out the gate.
When is the last time that happened? Like, when's the last time they got a fucking "This is awesome" chant?
It's been a while, buddy. It's few and far between, man. But you know what? That's awesome, and it was awesome. So thank you guys for joining us on this week's show. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for our review of SmackDown Live. Once again, this has been Kyle and RobRude. Thank you guys for joining us. Rob, I'll let you sign us off, buddy.
Baron Corbin unblocked me on Twitter. Let's roll.
Yeah.